Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And no, I'm not going to talk about how bad the journalism in this space. I'm going to tell you about how important it is to do your own research. This article just came out about 26 minutes ago. There's about a dozen articles online that have broke and talking about how Ripple is dumping their $1 billion out of escrow onto the market. Well, if anybody were to just do their own research, you would be able to see that on the 2nd of January, there was 900 million of that 1 billion returned back to escrow. So this is the proof, which everyone can do themselves. So it went back into escrow first through this one big chunk of 500 million, and then this particular one, which went to a wallet which is ending in LG, it then was broken down into two different transactions, one at 100 million and one at 300 million. And yes, there is 100 million that did not get returned. And a lot of people were asking me on Twitter, well, what about that 100 million that wasn't returned? Let me just tell you something how I feel, because a lot of people think that I am just talking about XRP because I am blindly following the Team Ripple. Let me just make myself clear. This is a horse race, and this particular race is a long race. When we talk in horse racing language, it's more than a mile, all right? And XRP, the digital asset, is definitely leading the field. That is, can't argue that. And it may only be a nose ahead right now, and the field is definitely coming at its heels, fast and furious. The mud is flying. The jockeys are using their crops, and they have made just the first turn. Now, if I see that this horse, which I imagine the XRP horse being gray, that is usually a horse in race term language, is usually the long shot. All right, so let's figure it's a gray mare. It's not even a yearling. It's a digital asset that has been around a while in comparison to many of the projects that are in their space. So let's say it's a gray mare. She's 5 years old. She's been training under one of the best jockeys and trainers in all of the racing circuit, and is primed to be a winner, and has the heart to be a winner, and is getting the best food, is getting the best morning workouts, is making the fastest times for training. But still, it's a race. It is a race. And should I see this horse that is just a nose ahead of the field right now, if I happen to see that that nose disappears into the field and new noses appear, well, I'm going to be the first to tell you all bets are off. But as far as I can see, we have passed the first turn, and it looks very good. I mean, this horse is positioned to really now take on the race with a greater lead, maybe a full length, a full horse length in lead. And that is what I'm expecting in 2020. Actually, I'm expecting that not only in 2020, but I'm expecting the full horse length lead to happen by Q2 of this year. So if you want to tell me in the comment section that I am just blindly following this company Ripple, I just don't believe it. I believe that they are being very careful stewards of the XRP digital asset. And like Emmy said, there's a lot of projects that are bubbling under the surface of the water. She's very excited to see some of those announcements. They are using this to enhance the ecosystem and really make the best path forward for XRP. That is what I believe, and I think that is what the majority of the people who are holding in this space or are currently cost averaging in believe. So I am not I'm not blind or emotional about this project at all. And I will tell you, I'll be the first to tell you if all bets are off. But right now, I am telling you that, in my opinion, this is a very promising project. And I'm very happy to see that 900 million of that billion that were released this January 1st have gone back into escrow. And I really do believe that Ripple is going to use that 100 million in a way that is positive and in a way that they need to do. So that, I guess, is, I don't rant very often, right? I know that somebody who's very good at ranting, and I like to listen to it, is Oz Crypto. he's he's a master at the rant, and I'm not so good at it because maybe I get a little long-winded, and that's kind of boring. So I don't do it very often, but I do feel that I need to do it in just this particular case. Okay, everybody, let's get off the racehorse subject and move on to something that I think has a little bit more of a global impact, if you will. I want you to take a step back, and I want you to understand that there's a lot happening with China, and it will have a huge impact on the global stage. And I'm feeling a bit concerned, if that's the right word. I guess I'm feeling America is not paying attention. So first, on the 24th of December, the Shenzhen Stock Exchange in China actually issued a 50 index. This is something that is going to track the cryptocurrency blockchain companies. And also, we have the very first Chinese ETF put into an application. If it is approved, this will become the first real blockchain theme fund in China, and the product is backed by a fund called Penghua, and it manages client assets to the tune of about 80 billion. Now, this government condoned development in part by a green light of support that is given from the state, and it will occur on one of the two independently operated stock exchanges in mainland China. The market capitalization of that one that it'll trade on is 3.12 trillion. It's the fourth largest in Asia and eighth in the world. And on this particular article here that we see in looking at the different projects that China is assessing, they are very active at assessing crypto projects. And President Xi is very, very in tune with what's going on. So some of those are EOS, Tron, Ethereum, Monero, Tezos, Bitcoin, XRP, BCH. Those are just to name a few. And they are watching the space, unlike the government is in the United States. And what I mean by that is, I don't think anyone in Congress, should I ask them to explain what does Tezos do, could give me an answer to that. And in the South China Morning Post, we can see here that China's new digital currency isn't Bitcoin, and it is not going to be used for speculation. This digital yuan, according to the head of the People's Bank of China Digital Currency Research Institute, said that it will not be backed by a basket of currencies. And so the digital yuan is expected to be released in just a couple of months. I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 at the most. And in my opinion, of course, it's going to be an incredible state surveillance tool. But Mr. Kitao of SBI sat down with CoinDesk Japan and had a 2-part interview, and gives us great insight to the developments of this digital space. I am continually impressed with how tuned in he is. And in the part 1, he says that the securities industry is shaking, and it's going forward, yes, along with what he sees as the U.S. securities industry facing tougher times, a tougher business environment. SBI is aggressively pursuing a zero commission strategy. So Charles Schwab acquired TD Ameritrade, and he was asked if SBI also is going to take any merger and acquisition. He said there is a possibility for a big M&A in Japan. So I think that should there be a debut of this digital yuan, Mr. Kitao talks about the world is going to have to decide whether this digital renminbi should be listed on the digital exchanges. And companies will have to come up with a strategy first and foremost. And then asked if America just sits silently, and if they do that silent mode, will it disrupt the dollar hegemony? And how is it going to affect Japan? Well, his answer was very interesting. Cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum are international financial assets without borders. Therefore, in this world, we need to build an ecosystem with a global system. So you can see by his answer that Mr. Kitao believes in the power of working together globally. So in this second part, which is on a completely different article, he is talking more about China, and if they do debut internationally this digital yuan, and it does become part of their national strategy, well, you have to look at how these oil-producing countries are likely also going to use common digital currencies. So the question posed is, will this be the end of the US dollar? You know, does it shake the regime? And Mr. Kitao thinks that the digital renminbi to the world is near, and that the Chinese government, yes, may be trying to break down the dollar as a key currency system. And so the yuan as an international currency, well, it's going to affect many of those countries that trade with China. And if the digital renminbi becomes that that the Japanese government and companies have to deal with, they will then have to change. So the most obvious thing is that the two countries, Japan and China, as he sees it, will have to work closely together. And the United States has abandoned its position as a world policeman. And he says that this, you know, has been expressed in the way that it's gone forward with this America First. While the U.S., in reducing its oil dependency of the Middle Eastern oil-producing countries to near zero, meanwhile, with these Middle East countries trying to issue their new digital currencies, if this is the case, well, everything will change. And the collapse of the dollar as a key currency, could increase. So he is one that is really staying on top of this changing environment, and I hope that the United States does the same. Okay, I am going to show you something positive. This is Patricia. This is her Coil page. And wow, is she doing some amazing work on Coil. She is writing like very few are, and is getting rewarded for that. So she wanted to share with me that she got one of the boosters from Coil, and for her exceptional contribution on the Coil platform, and in great recognition for her work, they sent her a boost payment of $1,162.17. Wow, I was so impressed. So anybody who doesn't think that Coil is a platform to be reckoned with is not paying attention. So anyway, congratulations, Patricia. I hope that we can collaborate on something together, and you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Okay, everybody, we're moving to the fluff. And I want to talk about this chef here. This is a KitKat chef. He is a chef with 2 stars. He's a master in the world of being a patissier, and he has created the first cacao fruit KitKat that reduces waste and replaces sugar with the pulp. Yeah, the pulp that is covering the cacao bean. And his name is Yasumasa Takagi. And this pulp is then pulverized and dried and turned into a powder, and it is a replacement for sugar. So for one that tastes this new taste of KitKat, it is a real experience, and people say that it's very tangy. And because it uses it as a natural sugar and flavoring, this encourages sustainable living through reduced food waste. Because when you take a look at the pulp, it was something that people just threw away before. And now he is using it and is creating this new flavor of KitKat. It looks like this. I have yet to find it. I'm going to try to find it. And the reason why is because I have a big KitKat giveaway when I hit 25,000 people on my subscribers for YouTube, which should happen in the next 24 hours. I'm going to have a big KitKat giveaway. I have been collecting and buying a lot this last week. And next to me, I have some brown tea, and I have a special Sakura cherry blossom flavor. I have a special orange flavor from Japan, and a party ice cream. I have also a custard pudding. I have a lot. I am going to try to find this cacao fruit. I don't know if I can do it. I think I can because I go to Tokyo Station. When do I go? On Monday. Yeah, and I think I'll be able to find this flavor at the special KitKat store, either in Tokyo Station or in Ginza, one of the two. Anyway, I am determined to find it. And I wanted to point out one other interesting thing that the KitKat company is doing here. They are changing their packaging away from plastic and moving to this paper. And what you can do then is, by following the instructions on the back, you can cut the paper out and create a piece of origami paper, and then make an origami crane out of the packaging of your KitKat. So again, another second life to something that you would normally just throw away. How cool is that? All right, everybody, you do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.